we start getting really real of what does it really mean to follow Jesus. We all have that honeymoon period after we meet him and really like get on fire for him. But what happens when the hardship starts coming, when the trials start coming, when anger at God starts coming? How does Jesus respond? Is it okay to be angry at God? Like, we wrestle with some storylines that are really profound.
Okay, well, thank you so much for talking to me today.
Yeah, thank you.
Katherine, you are the Director of Original Content?
Yeah, Vice President of Original Content.
Vice President of Original
Yes.
Content. So tell me how you became involved with The Chosen.
So I was formerly head of Faith and Family Content at MGM. And so I actually, the fun story, The Chosen came across my desk a number of years ago, before like the world had ever even heard of The Chosen, before The Chosen was ever even crowdfunded or in production. And it was just The Shepherd. It was a pilot episode. And I saw it, and I immediately was like, this is going to be a global phenomenon. I just knew it.
Right.
And so I immediately emailed Mark Burnett, head of MGM, and Roma Downey, his wife. And I said, you have to acquire this. It's going to take over the world. So they tried to, God bless them, but Dallas was already in distribution partnership with Angel Studios. And so I was so disappointed when I was at MGM. I was just like, oh, this, I know, like I couldn't stop thinking about it for months and months and months. Skip ahead to years later, I just had my third baby.
Oh, yeah.
And my husband is like begging me to watch this show on an app. And I was like, who watches a show on an app? Like, so cheesy. But he has good taste.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, I'll do it. And it dawned on me as I was watching it. I did some research and I said, this is The Shepherd. It's the same thing. And here it is becoming a global phenomenon. So that started the journey of me getting connected with The Chosen. And given that background, they kind of really took me seriously for some reason. God is good. And they just made a role for me of just heading up content. And I haven't looked back since.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about season 3? How is it different? What are we looking for?
I think it's we start getting really real of what does it really mean to follow Jesus. We all have that honeymoon period after we meet him and really like get on fire for him. But what happens when the hardship starts coming, when the trials start coming, when anger at God starts coming? How does Jesus respond? Is it okay to be angry at God? Like, we wrestle with some storylines that are really profound. The disciples get sent out 2 by 2, and it's all about what they encounter. Good, the bad, the ugly. And we have some really profoundly tragic storylines that happen, and we see God bring hope and beauty through that. We also have our miracles. We have Feeding with the 5,000. It's really exciting. But we feel like this, more than any other season, people will watch and go, oh my goodness, that is me. Especially with some of the new characters we bring into the fold.
Right. How many new characters are coming on?
There's a good handful. But there are a few characters that we've met before that now come to the forefront in really beautiful, powerful ways. So Eden and Tamar are 2 that we'll see in much greater measure in this season, which I'm very happy about because they're 2 of my favorite characters. And then we meet a couple other new characters that will be along for the journey.
Awesome. What is it like to work on a show where you're introducing Jesus for the first time to many people? Is there a level of responsibility? Can you talk about that?
I mean, not only do we feel this profound pressure to continually be theologically accurate portrayal of the Gospels, but also truly authentic to the humanity who's both God and man. What does that mean as it's portrayed on screen? Because this is the first series that's ever unpacked the humans around Jesus and the humanity and the backstories. Like no other series has done that before in the life of Jesus. So it's a lot of responsibility. And then I think just operationally, as we build out the Chosen universe, for us it's continually going, how do we stay true to the leading and the wisdom of God? How do we hear his voice? How do we lean in? How do we be willing to pivot and not just live in our own hubris? It's hard because it's like, especially when you have so many people coming at you with fantastic ideas, discerning, okay, God, we have very limited resources to make this show and to reach the world with the authentic Jesus. Like, what's the best move here? So it's day by day. We're just crying out for more wisdom and discernment.
Absolutely. Can you talk a little bit about that crowdfunding process, and is it still crowdfunded at this point?
So the first season was crowdfunded. We had over 16,000 investors, which was hugely exciting. And then from that moment on, each season has been through a pay it forward model to where the audience pays to keep it free for other people. So the fun fact is only about 5% of our audience actually pays it forward, and the pay it forward dollars pay for future seasons to be made. And then 95% around the world, every country in the entire world gets free access to The Chosen. And so 95% are watching it completely free, and that could not make us more happy.
Yes. What is the one thing you want readers to know about The Chosen Season 3?
That God really, truly means it when he wants to embrace us where we're at. That all who are heavy and burdened can come meet with him and find rest.
Yeah.
And that he is, so long as we're showing up with our yes, with a heart of teachability, whether we're angry or joy-filled, he's willing and ready to meet us where we're at, and we have permission to be in process. He just asks for our yes.
Right.
And that in season 3 comes through in a whole new way.